And today we're going to get in specifically into the restaurant food industry. Mm-hmm. If you're not in the restaurant or food industry, don't turn it off, because there's going to be some gems in here for you, because I think a lot of times a business is a business. There's going to be several things that we're going to talk about throughout this episode that is going to apply to all businesses. So I hope that you guys will continue to tune in and watch and get some great advice from Edward. The Business Project Podcast.
Business can be complicated.
We break it down so regular people like us
can understand and find success. I'm John Crespo, accountant and consultant.
I'm Kacie Bryant, marketer and event planner.
If you run a business
or want to run a business,
welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another podcast, another week, man. This year is just going by so fast. I cannot believe it. It's so fast.
I don't even know where we're at. That's how fast it's moving.
Yes.
What month are we in?
I don't even know.
Even when this airs, it's probably going to be towards the end of the year, most likely, right?
Over. If you guys didn't check our podcast last week, then you would know who this beautiful face is. This is Edward, and he is the owner of Official Wings, and he did an amazing job last week talking about giving you guys 5.5/30 tips on running a business.
That was an official podcast.
Official. It was officially
that, right?
Awesome.
Official?
Yeah, I like
official. That was good.
Yeah. So Edward is a business owner, entrepreneur, doing really, really great things all over our state and beyond. And so we're just so fortunate to have him back today. And today we're going to get in specifically into the restaurant food industry. Mm-hmm. If you're not in the restaurant or food industry, don't turn it off, because there's going to be some gems in here for you, because I think a lot of times a business is a business. There's going to be several things that we're going to talk about throughout this episode that is going to apply to all businesses. So I hope that you guys will continue to tune in and watch and get some great advice from Edward. So
totally agree.
Yes, we're excited.
Yes.
This is good. I love having guests. We need to have guests every day.
Yeah.
All right, so Edward, tell us a little bit. Those of them that didn't hear our podcast last week, give us just a quick summary of Official Wings and what you do.
So Official Wings is a restaurant and food truck business. We sell deep-fried whole wings, deep-fried cauliflower, and boneless chicken also. We started in 2020, and now we have 3 locations, 1 in Nashville and 2 in Clarksville, Tennessee. And we're excited to be here, and we hope that we continue to open locations around the world.
Let's go. Take over the franchise world.
So you said you started as a food truck, and you bought your food truck right before COVID, right?
Yes, like 2 weeks before COVID.
Oh my goodness! So talk us through that.
So me and Ken, we went on Facebook Market and found a beat up, rusted food truck. But we had a vision, and we knew that with time and good planning that we could make this food truck happen. And so it took us a couple months, but we got it going.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot in the process. And just because something may look rough on the outside or even in the inside, it still has room to turn into a beautiful project.
Yeah.
And it did. It turned into a great food truck, and we still operate it today.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah. And those of you that aren't in Clarksville, in our area, probably don't know, back in around that time, the food truck industry here is like the Wild West. Mm-hmm. It still kind of is. Mm-hmm. But back then we're not like Nashville or, Memphis, to where it's been established and they have systems and there are things. Before probably 5 years ago, most of our food trucks came from Nashville.
Correct.
So this is a pretty new industry here. And so you're kind of one of the pioneers in that.
Yes. So when we started, it wasn't very many food trucks out in Clarksville. But and it definitely wasn't an app or a site to go on to book events. There was no one to really go to figure out where to go and what to do with the food truck. But I met Miss Shirley Brown. She's of the Clarksville food scene, and she helped give me a lot of my bookings. And I owe a lot of my first year success to her. She really helped us out a lot. And then now we have a lot more apps. You can go on Street Food Truck Finder. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of other different ways to book food trucks now. But when we started right in the middle of COVID, it was hard to book events because a lot of things were closing down. A lot of them had restrictions on how many people they could have in a building, how many people would come out to a food truck.
If they were even having events.
Yeah, if they were
Right.
even having events. And you're right, so it wasn't many. But we ended up going to neighborhoods. So the neighborhoods really worked because it was an opportunity for the family to come out and do an activity, come out outside of their home, ride bikes, and do things that didn't involve going to like a amusement park or inside of a building for fun.
Right.
And so we did a lot of block parties in neighborhoods, and I don't know, we probably did 4 neighborhoods a week.
Wow.
I love that.
That's cool. And were you operating those all by yourself?
Just me and Ken.
You and Kim?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's probably a good time. Last podcast we talked about creating a vision and creating a system and failing at the beginning and
Correct.
trying things. So that's probably what you did during that time, huh?
Yes. Now, some neighborhoods you may get 1 customer, 2, and you may be there 4 or 5 hours.
Wow.
But in the next neighborhood, the next day, you may get 70 customers.
Right.
So it just depends on the day, but you can't give up. You have to keep going and figure out something different.
What I love about what you said about how you started out is, number one, you started in the middle of a pandemic, right? Or just literally right before the pandemic, right? So there was chaos going on in the world right there at that point. Nobody knew what was going on, right? Nobody knew. In 2020, nobody knew what was up,
Correct.
right?
We
At
were
least
all
the
just
first
trying to
couple
find
months.
toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody was
Yeah.
fighting for water and toilet paper. You couldn't find none of that stuff anywhere. But you found an opportunity in that time. You still went with your vision. You didn't allow that chaos to stall your vision, right? So you went in at that time. And you know what's funny is that most of the most successful businesses in the world right now started in times of chaos.
And I have learned that you have to be the calm in the storm.
Yeah.
You can't become chaotic as the storm.
Right.
So as long as you are calm throughout the storm and you figure out, okay, these things I cannot control. I could not control COVID, but I can control me getting up, going
Exactly.
6-7 days a week to give this thing a try. And it worked out. We survived through it, and now, here we are.
Yes. I think that's what separates like winners from losers, right? Let's just say that. You understood that there's some things you couldn't control, and you didn't let that deter you. You focused on what you could control, and you kept pushing forward.
Correct.
And that's a true determination of a winner versus a loser. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Keep dropping your gems. Go ahead.
Okay.
Why don't we start from the startup process? Talk us through the startup process. If those that are watching or listening that are wanting to start a food truck or a restaurant,
Okay.
how do they do that? How do they even get started?
First, you have to have your business name, of course, get business license, insurance, et cetera for that. But the main thing is understanding your build out. So for a lot of businesses, it's not good to buy a new food truck because that food truck may have 5 or 6 different things on there that you don't need. I don't need a cooktop or a griddle or, an oven. Just a lot of things that may come standard on a brand new food truck I did not need. All I needed was some big boy fryers to fry my whole wings. And with a build out, you also have to understand what's acceptable in each city when it comes to codes and having a fire suppression system, fire extinguishers. All of those things are different sizes are required, and different things that you have to be open and be able to be licensed. And so we learned a lot of those things the hard way. You can't go on Facebook Market and buy things used. Some things you might have to get brand new because the used one may be too small or maybe too large.
Right.
So you have to really research and understand the square foot of your restaurant or your food truck to be able to determine what product you would need in there and what equipment you would need in there to be able to make it work for yourself.
Yeah. That's good. And how does somebody figure out what size fire suppression system they need? How many fire extinguishers? Where do they go get that information?
They better go to a professional. Don't go to Elwood. Go to a professional.
We talk about that all the time. Going to a professional.
Go to a professional because if not, you will waste time and waste money.
Yeah.
Because you would get some professionals that will take your money and they'll say, okay, well, you need a 4-foot vent hood. And, well, no, I got 6 fryers. No, you need something larger than that.
Right.
You might need an 8-foot vent hood. But,
So where do you find a professional restaurant starter? Just Google that? professional restaurant starter?
Yep, you would Google that, and you can go to Queen City over on
Oh,
Trinity.
yeah, they're awesome.
They're awesome.
It's
over
like
at
a
Queen
restaurant
City.
supply store.
Correct. They can give you everything you need to get started and let you know about the measurements and everything that you'll need, and the type of fryers, whether they're gas fryers, propane fryers, all of those good things.
Because they're tied into the regulations.
Correct.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a lot of things I think that people don't start, not just in the food industry, but just in general about starting a business. Like even something as simple as a sign. A lot of cities, you have to get approval to put signs out there. They have sign codes, and you can't just go buy a 30-foot neon sign and put it in the front of your building.
Yes, and I learned that the hard way too. I had no idea that changing the sign out would affect zoning. You know what I mean? And a lot of the things that we do freely, they have rules behind them. And so I'm learning the hard way. You got to follow rules, and I can't create my own rules for a whole city. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to find out the rules, the guidelines, and policies, and be able to align your business with it in order to be successful.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Ask a lot of questions.
Ask a lot of
Yes.
questions.
Find somebody that's running something similar to your business and ask some questions.
And surround yourself with people that are doing things you want to do. You know, and it may sound bad, but you are no good being around people that's not doing anything aligned with what you're trying to do. It doesn't make sense. So if you want to start a food truck, go to every food truck event, meet the owners, study their menus, watch their operations, take a picture of the outside, see what their propane tank is located, where the generator located, what kind of generator do they have. All these things are free advice.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
So what do you give advice to those? I think a lot of people are scared to do that because they feel like, oh, it's going to be competition. I know sometimes the owner doesn't appreciate it because they're like, oh, I'm not going to give you all this free advice of something that took me forever to learn. Unfortunately, some people think that way. But then also I think people are afraid to ask because they feel like they're going to impose, or it's a scary thing to ask for help. So what are your thoughts on that?
My thought is, if you're going to let fear deter you from doing something that's going to help you grow, then be okay where you are. You're going to stay exactly where you are in life.
Yep.
You're not going to acquire anything new, anything grand, or anything great. You're going to stay with whatever the basics are that you are dealing with today. That's what you'll have tomorrow. That's my advice on it. If you can't get out of your box long enough to help yourself prepare forward, then you don't want a big win.
I love that. I think one thing that comes to my mind too is that you can't control other people's reactions. You can just control yourself. And a lot of times if somebody reacts a specific way to you, it's not personal. It actually has nothing to do with you. It has to do with their past experiences. So don't take it personal.
And it has to do with your approach.
Yeah, that too.
I mean, if someone walk up to me now and ask me, how much money did you make last month? You may not get the response you want out of me. But if you come and ask me, how has it been owning a restaurant? Then I may tell you every piece of any advice that I have.
Right.
But it's all about your approach, how you ask, and also how consistent you are. Because if you catch me during a rush hour and I'm back there in the kitchen, or I'm on the register during rush hour, it's hard to get a lot of conversation out of me because I'm working.
Yeah.
But, leave your number, leave your business card, or get my information, send an email, or whatever it may take to get what you need.
Right.
And for me, there's no limit to the amount of questions I would ask or who I would ask when it comes to finding out something that I need to help me grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I think that, you're going to get a lot of no's. If you're out there seeking, you're going to get a lot of no's.
Yeah, correct.
And I think people have to be ready for that. You're going to ask 1 million people for help, and 999,999 will say no. But that one person...
Coming from an accountant, I could have never done that
right?
in my head real quick.
I don't know how I did it either right now. But that one person that says yes is the game changer.
Correct.
Right?
And you have divine timing with anything, too. You have a lot of people that just want it now. I want this now, I want this now. But sometimes you will have somebody that will come in your life and they will be able to help you with every step of whatever you're dealing with. Just be patient and wait on it to come, all while doing the work on your end, too.
Yep, exactly.
That's
Good
hard.
stuff.
Being patient is really hard. But it is. It's like it's amazing when you are patient and just wake up every morning and do the best that you can do for that day. And then when it comes, it's so much better than you forcing it.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think business owners have to be okay with delayed gratification.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be okay with delayed gratification.
Sometimes 5 years,
right?
10 years.
Yes, it's a process. It's a marathon.
And the way I feel about it, if you don't have 5 or 6 years to allow something to organically grow, then odds are it's going to be hard to build a business.
Don't be in business.
No, don't be in
business.
Because you have days that are not your days.
Yep.
You're not in control of it.
That's right.
I have days where I think I'm going to be off. But if I have a cashier and a cook call out, guess what? I went from being off to being 2 people, a cashier and a cook.
Exactly.
But you have to go with the flow and be okay with things changing in the spur of the moment and make the best out of it and be thankful for the change.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you don't have a change, that's bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing we spoke about, going back to, the process of running a food truck, restaurant, food industry type of business, is running it in chaos, right? In the middle of chaos. We were talking about before we started recording is some businesses weren't able to pivot, right? So especially in this industry, that's so affected by our environment.
Correct.
You have to be ready, willing, and able to pivot, right? To make those adjustments.
Correct.
So that you can make it over to the other side. We've seen so many restaurants fail, so many food trucks fail during that time because they weren't willing to do that. So how were you able to make that through? Because, man,
you have to recreate the plan.
Yeah.
Even though it may be a temporary change. I'll give an example for us. We started setting up at hospitals.
Hospitals?
Yes. Because
That's where all the people were.
Yep.
yes. So if you can feed the doctors, the nurses, and everyone that's staying there working a 16-hour shift because of how many people were sick, that was the place to be for a food truck at the time.
Smart move.
And we could go there and, do very well.
Yeah.
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 Simple things like that. Simple adjustments sometimes.
So tell us, what do you think has contributed to your success the most? If you could give one piece of advice that you think that you wish that anybody watching this would just walk away and remember for the rest of their life, what would that be? I know that's such a hard question. You're just throwing gems though, left and right. Like I thought I was going to stump you a couple times, and you're like, no, and then it just comes out and it's wonderful.
I would say just because it doesn't look good right now, that don't mean that it won't look good tomorrow.
It's good.
And anything can change so fast. I mean, I can remember times where we didn't have any customers. I would buy supplies, have the food truck full of supplies, and go to an event, make no money. And I paid to go set up at the event.
Yep.
And then the following day, I get a call that another food truck canceled on someone. And then we go set up for that event and set up. Something that wasn't on my radar, wasn't on my calendar. I didn't expect it, and it just came out of nowhere right in time. So I would say don't worry and don't fear. That as long as you have a good spirit, you do right by people, and your vision is something that you truly believe in, just stick with it, and it will work.
Yeah, that's really good.
Amazing.
I have a story with that. Can I tell you a story?
Yeah.
My second business was a fitness studio in California, Northern California. And I might have told this on the podcast before, but I don't think so. I was really passionate. I was leaving a job that I wasn't in love with, sitting at an office, and I was really passionate about personal training and helping people in that way. And so I got my personal training certification. I worked at a gym for a while, and I was like, no, this isn't for me. I want to open my own place. I want to do it my way. So I opened a place. I signed the paper on renting this place, and I get it all set up. Like we build the stage, and it was a tiny room, but it was mine, and I was really excited about it. And I put a sign up on the sidewalk, and it was before social media was big, right? Especially for businesses. But I did some flyers around town with my phone number and got a special business phone, and I had it all set up and ready to go. And I'm sitting up here in this room waiting for the phone to call for like probably 2 weeks. I did all of this stuff. I'm just sitting here, and it got to the point to where I took my other phone and I called my business phone. Like, is it working? Did I put the wrong number? I looked at the flyers and dialed that number. I'm like, no, it's ringing. It's working. But after consistency and staying with it for 2 or 3 weeks, one person came in, and then that person loved it, and then they brought 2 friends, and then they loved it, and then they brought 3 friends. And after you know, we're like trying to sneak in other rooms in the space that we're renting, trying to use their space because we ran out of space. But if I would have, those first 2 weeks, if I would have been like, I'd quit. It's not working. I spent all this time. I did all this work, and it's not working. That it would have never grown into the business that it was. It had 65 employees when we sold it. So
Nice.
that is, I feel like, just to what you said, I feel like in the moment we can get so frustrated and feel like this is never going to work, and we did all this work and where are the people. But when you just stay consistent and understand that sometimes God's timing is perfect and he will give you things when you're ready, so much better that way.
And if it was that easy, everybody would have a restaurant. Everybody would have a business. And there's always a job for every type of person. And no job is greater than the next. No business is greater than the next. I mean, I wouldn't consider myself in no better situation than the person that works a 9 to 5 or works at Walmart or Sam's. I worked at Walmart and Sam's for over 12 years before starting my own business. And I really enjoyed working there. It was some, chaotic days, sure. But by me working there for so long, I learned a lot, and I learned how many different types of people there are in the world. And it's okay to be comfortable wherever you are.
Right.
But if you choose to do something different, then go for it. But put your all into it, and you have to continuously work on yourself and work on your product and work on whatever your vision is to make it work. It's not going to come to you, and the customer's not going to come beating down your door. Hey, I want to support you. Your family not even going to come knocking down your door. Your friends may not either, because you may have a product that they don't want, and that's okay. It's okay. So you just got to be okay with things not being okay, but work on yourself and your vision and your product. You have to work double harder than anyone.
That's right. Yeah. Good stuff.
Man, I'm inspired. I'm ready to start another business.
Yeah,
Let's go, John. Just kidding.
Let's do it.
I got some dreams. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, man. Drop some good gems.
I enjoyed being here.
Yep.
I know they loved it too.
Yeah.
We love having guests. It's been a while since we've had a guest. You're the first in a while. So congratulations. Now you set the bar high. I'm sorry for anybody that has to follow this. It's going to be hard.
Better come right.
It won't be that hard. But make sure y'all get over here and come check out local Clarksville.
Well, thank you. All right. Well, we appreciate you guys for watching or for listening, whatever you're doing. If it would be very, very helpful if you guys could give us just a thumbs up, give us a comment in the comments area, write us a review. All of that makes such a big difference.
It sure does.
Head on over to our Facebook page and just say, hey, guys, I listened to your podcast. And I saw Edward and he was awesome.
Yep. Share it away. Share it away.
All right. Can you do that for us? Thank you. We
Peace.
know you will. We love you guys. We will catch you.
Have a great day, you guys.
Yes. We got one more episode. One more. And the year's over. Can you believe that? One more, the year's over. And then we're going to be live. We're coming back in 2024 with a live podcast.
Ooh, wee.
It's going to be hot.
Let's
on
do it.
fire.
Coming in hot.
All right. Y'all have a good one. We will see you next week.